Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel, and have you ever been home alone during a blackout? Personally, I actually haven't, but that is basically what happens in today's game. Hellseed has us playing as a detective named Toscani in 1980s Italy. In the intro, we're given the information that one of the most important psychiatrists in town goes missing. The detective has a bad feeling about this and decides to pay the doctor's house a visit. Alone at night. We go through the front door and this is terrifying. Our first objective is to enter the basement to fix the electrical panel. Why is it that in every game we turn into some sort of contractor who has to fix other people's crappy homes? Anyway, we can explore the ground floor a bit and find out a few interesting things. There are a couple of photographs that we can pick up which reveal some information about the doctor. Inside the trash is a description of a drug used to treat more severe mental health conditions, but we'll get to that. We can go through one of the doors and oh my god! Oh, wait, that's just a shirt and fedora. Whoever did this, fuck you, man. Eventually, we can start hearing voices coming from the basement door, and there's a trail of blood leading to it, which wasn't there before. When we approach, this happens. Great, the door is open now. Let's get inside. This just keeps getting worse. It kind of reminds me of the basement in The Conjuring. By an old car, we can find the electricity panel, but there's a broken key inside. Shortly after, we can hear a shaking sound, and it's coming from a box. It's moving all by itself. When open, a rat jumps out at us, but we're also given a bolt cutter. This is something that we can use on one of the small doors back upstairs. Inside here, we find a ladder we can pick up. So at this point, this thing is in our inventory, meaning that we're constantly dragging this giant ladder behind us at all times. Back in the basement, we can now reach a toolbox high up on a shelf. Inside is a lever which we can use to open the electrical panel. Honestly, I didn't quite understand how to fix it as nothing is really labeled, so I just pressed buttons until it worked. Once the lights turn on, hundreds of rats appear, and it's quite a battle to get the hell out of here. And it's once we're back upstairs and away from these hell beasts that things start to get really strange. Then there's a window that slams around all by itself. By the way, here, when I rewatched it, the door opened up for a brief moment, but I completely missed it. I always kind of like those moments when I scrub through a gameplay and I realize, wait, there's more to this than I thought. What we also see is the faucets in the bathroom constantly turning on by themselves. In one of the small rooms, we can find a small panel which requires a screwdriver to open up, but more on that later. Eventually, we see that the TV is on in the living room. When we turn it off, writing appears on the wall saying knock knock a bunch of times and everything goes dark. When we move outside, another part of the house is bathed in red light. Okay, either this is going to be really creepy or oddly romantic. We see a stroller rolling by, which is interesting because at the beginning the detective mentions how he wasn't able to start a family, almost like he regrets it. This is where I think the psychological aspect of the game becomes more noticeable. I think that whatever is haunting this place starts attacking you by taking your fears or regrets and using them against you to drive you crazy. When we go through this little doorway, we're back at the beginning. Suddenly the phone rings and I don't think we should answer it. It's not even my house. Why would I answer a stranger's phone? But of course I pick it up, and it's someone from the police. By the way, the crying girl in the background, the operator doesn't have any questions about that. This is probably because it's only in our head, only we can hear it, that's what I think. I think there's something that happens later on which we can connect to this. We're then told about a bunker, a small path that runs for about 50 meters somewhere in the basement. And of course, we should check it out. Alone, still at night. So, do we ever in this conversation ask for help or talk about any of the crazy shit that happened? Maybe just ask for an exterminator for the vermin in the basement? No, we're going to investigate this on our own. At one point we go up to the second floor and see something weird. My first guess was that this is the owner who is, I don't know, maybe upset that we stole a bunch of stuff from him. I mean, we have a bolt cutter and the ladders all stuffed in our pants, so no wonder he's having a seizure. By the way, even though I'm having fun with this video, I want to say that the visual style of Hellseed is actually pretty impressive. The lighting is creepy and the atmosphere makes it instantly intriguing. That's something that this game does extremely well, especially when you compare it to most other short horror experiences. But honestly, I don't know what to make of this, so if you know better, let me know. When we go closer, all the lights go out once again. The doors are still locked, so the only option is to head back down. Suddenly, the refrigerator door in the kitchen is now open. Now, it's not outright explained what this is, but my guess is that this is our baby. In the intro, the detective writes, "if she hadn't gone mad," probably referring to his wife after writing about how he wasn't able to start a family. So maybe the baby was stillborn. My interpretation, which could be completely wrong, is that the detective's wife, after the death of her baby, went, as he puts it, mad. She was in great amounts of pain, but we were always busy working. This probably leads to significant feelings of guilt within the detective, which might cause him to see things, the wife being angry at him because he wasn't there for her. Remember when we heard the woman crying by the phone? I think that is not just there to be creepy, but it's the detective's wife's reaction after finding out what happened to their baby. By the way, this is what this scene looked like in a previous version of the game. Anyway, after everything goes back to normal, on the floor we can find a few broken plates, and among them is a key. Bro, what the hell is up with these hidden keys? I think every normal person has that jar or plate thing by the entrance where they keep all the keys, but these people hiding keys in between plates, you gotta be kidding me. So this finally allows us to go into a new part of the house. Here we can find a screwdriver which we can use on one of the panels in the small storage rooms. Now, I don't know where to put this in the video, so I'll just say it here. In the trash in the kitchen was a description of a drug called Thorazine 25, which, as it reads, is used to treat conditions such as severe schizophrenia and paranoia. The game specifically mentions feelings of persecution. There are, of course, a few different interpretations of this information, but I believe that the psychiatrist also saw similar visions as we did. Thinking that he might be losing his mind, he started taking this drug in hopes of stopping to see these unexplainable things in his house. This, of course, only adds to the mystery of what exactly happened to him. Anyway, back to where we were. In that little closet that we busted open, we can actually remove a panel behind which we find another key. And it's for the basement that the operator mentioned. Bro, leave this house. No, this guy wants to have an adventure. And guys, I swear, the basement, this wine cellar the doctor has, is bigger than any place that I've ever lived in combined. Does this guy run a franchise of restaurants? Who needs this much wine? There are barrels of alcohol. At some point you'll stumble upon a giant metal door. After entering the correct code, which honestly I did not know how to find, a woman comes charging at us with a knife. My guess is that this is the detective's wife? I mean, I think this demon appears as the detective's wife to us, since Toscani probably had some trouble at home and was never there to support his wife. This is maybe what he fears. The wife who he ignored and left alone, who started having problems, now comes to basically get revenge. And thus begins the slowest chase ever. Before we leave, we have to pick up a bunch of wooden planks, which, would be my first thought as well. Occasionally we'll run into the woman, but the escape strategy is pretty simple. Just slowly walk away from her, and she's apparently even slower than I am, so we'll get away no problem. Once all the boards are collected, we're allowed to leave. As I was heading back upstairs, I was curious as to where she was, and oh my god, she's right there. So I went back upstairs and started barricading the door quickly, and after doing all of that, the first chapter ends. I gotta say that this game isn't exactly fast-paced. It's a lot of walking around a dark building alone. Personally, I thought that things like the hiding mechanics were kind of pointless, as I never really used them. Nevertheless, there are some very effective scary moments to be found here, and considering that this is a small indie title, I'd say that I had a great time. As always, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, smash like, smash subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.